2022 has disappointed me in more ways than music, but I don't feel like talking about the other stuff right now. 2022 feels so weird because for the past 2 years, I felt like the new decade was going somewhere, but 2022 feels like a dead zone of artists unsure of what they want to be. This was also the first year that music has really downgraded in quality, and we have the list of following reasons as to why. 1. With the growing popularity of TikTok and the use of pop songs for its videos, people are mistaking the use of songs and videos for enjoyable fun instead of the real purpose: memes. 2. Fan culture worsens with the obsessions of taking credit for artists' accolades and streaming songs via YouTube, Spotify, and other music platforms, so much so that it's become an addiction for some of these obsessive fans or stans, as Eminem would put it. Number 3. Record and entertainment companies and even the artists themselves have been so hyper-aware of the latest social media practices that they'll take advantage of their young audiences by force-feeding industry plant entertainment down people's throats because those people and the company's intentions match the online algorithms. 4 and last, almost every hit song I've come across had a god-awful sampling job or basically stole another song just to make a paycheck for themselves. Trying to find even 13 bad songs and list them all in the order that would satisfy me was exhausting. In fact, 2022 is such a horrible year for me that I didn't even think 13 songs was going to be enough to express my grievances. Yep. This is that kind of video. Furthermore, because a lot of the songs that did make it onto the Billboard year-end were from previous years, I decided that I was going to throw in songs that also should have made the running considering how much of a rat infestation they were. Most of them were from this country, some were from somewhere else, but because of TikTok and other social platforms, everyone had to listen to them completely and entirely unwillingly. Hey, this is my list, I can do whatever the hell I want with it. On the bright side, that'll mean that I'll be more than brief with my pick explanations than I was before. So let's get a move on to the top 35 worst pop songs of 2022.
Early in the morning, late at night.
Why are you still here? Come on, go! Move now!
And I'm just trying to keep my daughters off the pole and my son's out of jail.
Why are you still here? Come on, go! Move now!
Please don't let this become a thing. Please don't let this become a thing. Please don't let this become a thing.
When we pull up, you know it's a shutdown. Shutdown.
So, according to the blanks of the world, they hate Blackpink's latest album. But they are using this song as the Trojan horse to demand better treatment for a K-pop group that was never extraordinary to begin with. I mean it, go listen to their debut single and you'd realize that these girls had literally nothing but Ariana Grande 7 Rings vibes, before that was even a thing. Let me be clear for some split second. I don't hate the members of Blackpink. Okay, maybe except one, but I'll get to her later. I just hate what Blackpink stands for. The best way I can describe these four together is like electing the high school student council president. They probably have no idea how to complete the responsibilities of the role, but because they have pretty privilege, the rest of the student body will elect them anyway because it will give the school a more beautiful image. Like everyone will even give a crap, but they don't because once a pep rally comes around and Jennie Kim is up there making her cute student council's president speech, everyone else in the bleachers are just looking down at their cell phones wishing they were somewhere else. Literally, any other artist could have gotten this instrumental to use and they would have made it more tolerable to listen to than these four. Whoever calls this rapping must hate real rap music. I don't like real rap music, but I would rather listen to Megan Thee Stallion and DaBaby doing Crybaby for 24 hours than be caught listening to some group of girls called Blackpink. Like there's some Hello Kitty antis or something. For those of you who are worrying about my safety, no need to fret. Blackpink are on the downward spiral to the point that the fans won't even start fan wars anymore. Hell, just watch those reaction videos about their latest concert tour. With that said, my life would be so much better if I were never to hear Jisoo's shrieking vocals ever again. The part that hurts me the most is that whoever wrote the song thinks that the violins should play high notes without any diversity for the rest of the track. I love violins, So this instrumental hurts me as if someone stabbed me in the chest and then twisted the knife to further my suffering. And then these girls give you the middle finger by basically saying that they will shut you down as if they were the queens of the world. Didn't I already mention that Ariana Grande tried the very same thing before she got torn to shreds?
Been through some bad shit, I should be a savage. Who would've thought it turned me to a savage?
Yeah, basically the entirety of Blackpink's existence is based on that one Ariana Grande album that no one liked. Again, that was before that Ariana Grande album even happened. Okay, if I don't like listening to a white girl pretending to be a different race for clout, I don't like Korean girls pretending to be different races for clout either. Besides, if you want a song of the same title but better, go listen to Classy's Shut Down instead.
Talking, we shut you down.
Perhaps I should be relieved that Lady Gaga didn't hit the charts this year because Hold My Hand would have immediately been paired up with this annoying worm of a song. That was in the same movie as Gaga's single, by the way.
I don't know what you've been told, but time is running out, no need to take it slow.
One Republic, I used to look up to you. What happened? This song was supposed to be for a Top Gun movie? I refuse to believe that. This sounds like something they could have released in the last decade, but didn't. This is so outdated that it's actually kinda embarrassing. Imagine this band wanting to take you back a decade ago by literally making music that sounds like they released it a decade ago. Oh, and by the way, the original Top Gun movie came out in 1986, and this was the theme song for that film over 30 years ago. One of my favorite songs from that year, by the way. So with that song to be inspired by, One Republic came up with this instead.
But I ain't worried about it right now.
And the fact that Danger Zone did end up on Top Gun Maverick's soundtrack next to I Ain't Worried is more embarrassing than I can even imagine. At this point, I can't tell if One Republic should retire or learn from their mistakes, because they were even past their prime in the 2010s, and I didn't care that they didn't make an album for 5 years until 2021 when they apparently dropped an album and no one noticed. Actually, I didn't know they released anything in 2016 either, so I guess that speaks volumes.
I ain't worried about it. Pointers in the paddock in my piece, I'm Pusha P.
And to this day, we still don't know what pushing P even means. I don't think these idiots know either. I refuse to go into the rest of the lyrics because based on what everyone else covered, it would be completely pointless. Like, what was Gunna doing? Making a set of ABC trap songs for children? Let's move on before I lose any more brain cells. I honestly didn't think that I was going to go into depth into something BTS related today, but here we are. So BTS are on hiatus as a group because it has been confirmed that the members have to enlist in the South Korean army for the next few years, as each member simultaneously enters and is discharged depending on how long their terms are. However, before that would happen, some of them have decided to release solo work to keep up their creativity and cash flow going. Some of these were received well, others not so much. That wasn't the only thing that kind of ruined their reputations musically. The 2020s was also the decade that Western artists decided that they were going to take advantage of BTS's clout and tried to rebuild their own flopping careers. Jason Derulo thought adding the boys to his failing Savage Love single would rebuild his plagiarizing streak cred. Sia thought adding her controversies onto the remix of On would actually rebuild her own cred, but instead made her look worse. Boy With Love is notoriously one of the worst things that Halsey's ever worked on, and My Universe with Coldplay nearly destroyed any credit that the band had ever received in their 24 years as a music act. But none of those even compare to what was going to happen in 2022.
Memories follow me left and right.
I did my best to avoid this song at all costs, because even though I'm a Charlie Puth stan through and through, I refused to support this obvious cash grab. When Charlie announced on his Instagram this collab with Jungkook, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, and I'm dead ass, I'm sorry I pronounced that wrong, we all knew exactly what was happening. Charlie was after that BTS money after the K-pop group hit the Western big times. Unfortunately, I was forced to listen to this while I was driving home from getting my flu shot this past October, and it was just as bad as I expected it to be. Okay, bad is a bit of a stretch, but I swear to God, when I turned on the car to this song playing, I thought I was listening to Meet Me at Her Spot by Willow Smith and Tyler Cole.
And I wake up, I can't even stay up. I'm not getting younger.
Ever since the day you went away, no, I don't know how.
You hear the similarities, right? Left and Right is basically Meet Me at Her Spot, but popified and lazy. It failed to complete Charlie's intentions, and it really left a dent in Jungkook's solo discography. Charlie fans didn't want to hear it, and neither did the ARMYs. Funny that two fandoms can finally agree on hating a song for once. How convenient for maintaining my channel for just one more video.
You take up every corner of my mind. What you gonna do now?
Oh, we are really deep into the awfulness of the year. For the record, most of the songs that you're going to hear on the list are not here because of the material itself is offensive, but it's that for the first time in a while, the actual music itself is the problem, which is something I had not been rated with before. 2022 has been the year when everyone decided that they were going to take an existing popular song from either the 80s, 90s, or 2000s and basically revamp it as if they wrote it themselves. The amount of songs that either sample or rip off the original hit is completely beyond what I thought people were going to do. Normally, it's one or two artists who make a hit that samples another, and usually it's not that bad. This year, along with the TikTokers, everyone thought it would be a good idea to plagiarize a hit or two. Oh, and don't worry, I'll get to the plagiarism part of the list later. But you're probably thinking, what could be worse than Charlie Puth selling out with the biggest overseas group in decades since the Beatles? Oh God, the death of hip-hop is worse than I thought.
I can lick it, I can ride it while you slipping and sliding.
So if this song sounds familiar to you at all, it's actually interpolating Rick James's Super Freak, one of the most famous funk and new wave singles of the 80s. A song that one day MC Hammer would sample for You Can't Touch This, one of the best uses of a sample in the history of man. Anyway, Super Freak is a song about a man describing an encounter with one of his one-night stands who embraces her kinky nature, so much to James's delight. Despite the song being a staple of pop music, unfortunately, James's track record isn't much so. So even though the song is a classic, which I will not deny, I refuse to indulge more into Rick James's discography. But on to the subject at hand. Nicki is using Super Freak into her own song to describe that she is the Super Freak girl who James was referencing back in '91. Here's the problem. All of the charm and funkiness that the original had is completely tarnished by Nicki's lazy lyrics.
One thing about me, I'm the baddest alive. He know the prettiest bitch didn't come until I arrive.
That flow. Kesha did it first. Also, the spelling rhythm just ruins the entire song for me. If you're going to spell out freak, can't you at least do it without cutting yourself off with your annoying voice?
F-R-E-A-K-A-K-A-K.
Good God, this reminds me of how Anaconda ends.
I got a big fat ass.
If you want to listen to a better sampling of Super Freak, just go listen to the best pop rap song of all time. I get it. You don't like this song. Fine, I cave. At least I mentioned it. But let's be legit for a second. Fight the real enemy.
I could have my Gucci on. I go wear my Louis Vuitton.
Screw this woman. I hope I have to never talk about her ever again after all of this. If we're gonna mention any form of a plot twist in the music industry, Meghan Trainor making a comeback 6 years after her last song hit the top 20 on the Billboard Hot 100, well yeah, she's made music after her Thank You album, but it's just that none of them made an impact on the mainstream like Made You Look has been since its drop. The reason why Made You Look made such a stink, internet-wise, is, you guessed it, through TikTok, but also through her collaborative ad with Candy Crush. For the past year or two, Meghan has gotten most of her paychecks from doing commercials for certain mobile games, 2 of them being some bingo game that makes it sound like a gambling scheme, which I'm sure is against the law somewhere, and Candy Crush, the most popular mobile game of gaming history. You might have seen a Candy Crush ad or two on either this platform if you don't have ad block, or on TV while you're watching Hallmark Christmas movies or something. Because of this, Meghan Trainor has come back to the pop sphere in the worst way possible, which is that some ads you can't avoid. Ever. Anyway, Made You Look is supposed to be a return to Trainor's debut sound back in 2015, but if I remember correctly, everyone hated that era of Trainor's career too. It's not just how the song sounds that rubs me the wrong way, but it's how pretentious Trainor is with each word that comes out of her mouth.
But even with nothing on, bet I made you look. I made you look.
I know everyone's made fun of how the song starts with the chorus, but that chorus was the only beginning with how much Trainor is trying to show her haters that they can't look away from whatever she does no matter how hard anyone tries. Well, I actually did look away, and I pretty much have been since the album dropped. The only time I didn't was while editing this video. Congratulations, Megan, you played yourself.
I made you look.
You gave me eyes, Willie girl, you gave me Golden Jones.
I expect nothing, and I'm still let down.
Speaking of country music, I'd say that the genre's had a pretty good run in 2022 for the most part, especially since the majority of new songs on the Billboard year-end list I've never heard of in my life. Because since when had they played country songs on the pop radio? Anyway, enough wishful thinking. Does anyone wish Bro Country was back after hearing this?
She likes it when I pour tequila, cause she knows that we about to have ourselves a little night.
Jesus, speaking of horrible vocals I wish I would stab to death. You know, rap and country should be getting along better like siblings because they both make list songs that are so boring and pointless that I hope the paychecks were worth it for the artists who made them. Didn't Shay? I blame you for this mess. Honest to God, I do. I feel that with this next song, I'm gonna get on the bad side of Disney fans, but please hear me out.
Then you better figure it out because it was coming for you.
We don't talk about Bruno, no, no, no.
I love Encanto. I thought it was one of the greater projects the Disney company had put out in recent years. The majority of the soundtrack is repeatable and enjoyable until the day I die. When I say the majority, I mean every single song, except one. God, am I going to get canceled from the Disney fandom too?
Under the surface, I feel berserk as a tightrope walker in a three-ring circus.
Surface Pressure is a mess. That I got what it was trying to go for, but the overall execution was just... Miranda, what the hell were you doing, man? Why were the rest of your songs so consistent, but then this happens?
Floor crack, the straw in the stack, that breaks the camel's back. What breaks the camel's back? Crushing weight of expectations. Would that free some room up for?
I would rather have Louisa not have a song at all in the movie and just have her break down for Mirabelle to understand what's going on than a piece that doesn't even fit with the rest of the movie.
No mistakes, no pressure.
My track record's so clean, they couldn't wait to just bash me.
I expect nothing, and I'm still let down.
Throw up the sex in her.
I'm not crazy, right? Jack Harlow was always this bad, right? He might have sounded like he was having a good time on Industry Baby, but then when you have this as a single, that must have been some form of an act. Or maybe Jack didn't want to rap this song, but he was forced to by the label anyway. It's this type of attitude in his rap that makes the song so boring. What happened to the hype that was supposed to be from Industry Baby? Also, I thought it was a nice touch for the song to use Fergie's Glamorous as the choral sample, but with how dull the tone is, Fergie deserves so much better than to be honored with practically nothing. And I'm saying this while remembering that this song was also a thing.
So delicious. It's hot, hot, so delicious.
Dear God, that was one of the many songs that made me hate life in middle school. Case in point, this is another example of how a sample can't save the rest of the song from flopping. I think Jack was just so reliant on the sample that he didn't need to write interesting verses to keep the momentum going. and you can tell. I knew this year was a lie.
Let me be your woman.
Doja, you don't speak like that. I know for a fact you don't sound like that.
I can be your woman. Let me be your woman.
What, you got nothing else to say?
She give 10 fold, come here, pop up, plant your seed. She can grow right from a womb of family.
And I think we're done here. I debated on whether I should actually do this. There were plenty of bad songs to go over onshore, but there was also a lot of bad songs offshore. 2022 was a very bad year for K-pop music. A lot of it was forgettable. Some of it was this. I've been berated by engines and K-pop stans alike by saying that I had no good taste because I didn't like this one song in particular. Well, I'm sorry that I hate horrible sounding music if that's what you're insinuating. The instrumentals are so loud, I could barely hear any of the members' vocals. These boys are literally screaming the lyrics as if that's how you properly rap/sing. Well, other than the booming instrumental that I mentioned 10 seconds ago. This is what K-pop stans like to call noise music. And every stan who claims that they like noise music all say the same excuses.
It grows on you after a while.
If you listen to it more than 10 times, you'll get it.
It goes in be so cringy that it's actually funny to you.
I'm not sorry, but you're a lunatic if you think any of those statements are legit critiques on why a song is good. That's like saying that Cats is a tolerable musical as long as you're drunk. The last thing I'm going to be doing is to get gaslit into a genre called noise music. To quote Jim Parsons directly,
"This is not even music. This is just noise."
I've been waiting 2 years to use that meme. 2 years.
You stay, still, you stay, you stay.
2022 was a really bad year for K-pop music.
Put my sneakers on. 하나 둘 ready get set go. Boy gonna diss me, boy I'm so pissed.
I couldn't choose which one was worse, so I went with both. Whoever was responsible for making this group of girls sing as if they were auditioning for a Skechers commercial and a Disney Channel movie at the same time should have been fired. I never really liked ITZY's music, but I never had the inkling to say that any of their songs were bad, except Mafia in the Morning. I hate that track with a burning passion. But then we got these two siblings of disaster. How did we go from girls being cool to girls being not? What's cool about sneakers and mocking boys as if they're teenagers? Had they debuted in 2016 and released these two songs, they probably would have been ahead of their time. At this point, they were 6 years too late, even though they debuted in 2019. Everyone blames JYP Entertainment for these songs existing, and you know what? I wouldn't put it past them.
Finding myself, showing myself, finding a way to stay out of the way.
If Drake never sang again, I would be the happiest woman in the universe.
What would you do without me?
Oh, my goodness, someone please hit him.
I also couldn't choose. They're both songs by the same artist again, but they are both just as offensive in musical art that I had to put them both on this ranking number.
En la guagua se queda el olor de tu perfume. Muchas novias, hoy tengo a una, mañana otra, ey.
Bad Bunny is one of those artists who confuses me to the core. He can make really good music at times, but a lot of the time, it's filler Latin vibe trash that people are going to forget in the next month. These two songs, on the other hand, they're just unlistenable.
Ve a lo rica que Me la voy a llevar a toa pa' un VIP, ey.
Did you people find enjoyment in this? Let me know in the comments if you did, because I'm at a complete loss.
Why are you still here?
I need something you prove.
According to the general consensus, Morgan Wallen sucked before the whole yelling at a black guy and calling him the N-word thing, so this is not even news. But for a country breakup song, this is just lazy. The lyrics are so disjointed, and I wouldn't be surprised if a 13-year-old edgelord wrote the stanzas after his first breakup. I pray to Jesus that Morgan goes away after this. I refuse to tolerate this nonsense any further. Circles was a fluke, right? That has to be the only way that this fall from grace happened, right?
I got one coming over your heart right now.
And Post Malone didn't want to admit that he did bad because he just had to drag The Weeknd down with him.
And lead them Broadway girls alone.
This is the reason why country and rap should not go together. Unless you're Lil Nas X.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
Yeah, that one still holds up. I never thought I'd see the day that one of my favorite Bruno Mars songs gets sampled into a trap hip-hop beat, but here we are.
Pull up the single turn up.
Look how they massacred my boy.
They said I just got it pop, get into it, yo. Pop out with a truck, get into it, yo.
Ew, 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 ew. Why does she sound like an X-rated version of Susie from the Rugrats? Oh, Jesus, why did I put that image into my own head? Ladies and gentlemen, I suggest that before you guys get into songwriting that you at least study the basics first. Unless you want to end up like the schmucks that wrote this. 2022 was a really, really bad year for K-pop.
We more until we fresh. Gotta go, we fresh.
I expect nothing, and I'm still let down.
First of all, no, the group name is not a typo. The girl group name is legit spelled like that. Trust me, I'm not the only person who complained. Secondly, this song is the most confused I've ever heard anything being. It doesn't have much of an identity except for the fact that it just exists. That's when you know you failed as a songwriter.
Thought I'd die in your arms, I thought I'd die in your...
It's already bad enough that people are still making a dead man's music into something else 4 years after the event, but it's even worse when using a dead wife beater's music, but not only that, but incorporated by a neo-Nazi in our midst. Kanye West has officially lost it if it wasn't clear before. However, this isn't the only song that made it the most clear. It was this one.
He was once I saw from around the way.
My life was never
Easy.
We all know why this song is on here.
I ain't bring nothing to the table.
No shit.
Yeah, enough fooling around. We all know the reason why we're here.
No more counseling, I don't negotiate with therapists. Court would go to court together. Matter of fact, pick up your sis, we'll go to court together. God sent me from that crash, just so I could beat Pete Davidson's ass.
I'm just gonna say it. No one likes Pete Davidson, but that's only because he was the unfunniest person next to James Corden. When the whole divorce drama was going down in the first place, no one was using the hating Pete Davidson rhetoric to side with Kanye. The complete opposite occurred, and people were using common sense for a change. Pete was literally just minding his own business with Kim doing whatever they had planned on doing outside the marriage falling apart, and it was because Kim had moved on so quickly that Kanye got super pissed. Okay, Kanye, so you're telling me that you're allowed to screw any woman you please, but the moment your woman calls it quits, That's when you say attack the man?
It's the narcissist. Tell me about my arrogance.
But it was more than spewing hate on social media, which everyone was used to seeing at that point. But it was literally trying to rally a gang of Pete Davidson aunties just to make Kanye look like the victim, to the point in which Kanye's old friends admitted publicly that West was officially off his rocker. I'm also going to say this. Kanye doesn't hate Pete Davidson personally. Kanye just hates Pete as the man he claimed stole his wife. Kim could have put any other man in Pete's place, and that very man would have also gotten Kanye's scrutiny. Kanye's verses this past year have been nothing but temper tantrums from a 45-year-old unstable man. He spends God knows how long bitching about how he lost his white wife to a white man who looks like he was evolved from an ape in a science lab. After losing his reputation from his sponsors and practically everyone else in the music industry, or hell, even the world, this was the best he could do. This is what happens when you have a bunch of yes men who can't say no whenever someone like Kanye compares himself to Jesus Christ. I know he changed his name to Ye, but I refuse to stoop myself to his toddler, I whip this, I want that routine. If you guys haven't noticed, I said absolutely nothing about the game's verses, and that's because I don't give a damn about what he has to say at all. The only thing about the game I have against him is for giving Kanye a musical platform to vomit his divorce drama and hateful rhetoric against a person who literally has done nothing wrong for the first time in his wealthy career. By the way, if you allow this from this psychopath, you are just as complicit.
Say you my nigga, I'ma be your killer. Nobody gonna play with you when I'm with you. Go against any nigga like fuck this glitter. Ski off third on bitches. I put it in for you.
Whoever said it was okay for this man to sing, I hope your life is more miserable than what mine has been for the past 2 years. 2022 was a really bad year for, okay, you get the idea. This K-pop song was the first one since my first time listening to Fantastic Baby by Big Bang that actually gave me allergies to listen to. It's one thing to try to experiment with different musical themes in one song, but it's another to not even tie them together, but you just expect people to get used to it. Not only that, but this song is only under 3 minutes and it doesn't have time to explain why it sounds the way that it does. And again, I'm sick and tired of having musically uneducated teenagers try to gaslight me to believe that this is actually a good song because anyone with ears can tell you how awful OO is. And the fact that the song is supposed to read like an emoji tells you even more how JYP doesn't give a shit about these girls and how to debut them at all. Do the girls have skill? Yes, I do believe that, and if you listen to the comeback, that should have been the song they debuted with, but they got this and Tank instead. Actually, Tank is not as terrible, but it's still kinda meh. But please, everyone, I beg of you, stop trying to defend this mess. This isn't I Got a Boy. It never will reach that level.
Stop it. Get some help.
No.
I'm good, yeah, I'm feeling alright. Baby, I'ma have the best fucking night of my life.
Okay, if you're sampling a meme song from the 2000s and you have to put the title of the song you're sampling into the title of your song, you know you did something wrong. Getta, I hope you dove into a ditch right after this. Rexa, you need to go home and retire. No one gives a crap, and no appropriate amount of F-bombs is going to convince us otherwise. This is a reminder that this is the same bitch who threw a temper tantrum at the RuPaul's Drag Race convention because no one wanted to take pictures with her or ask for her autograph. To add on to that discourse, if the F-bomb tantrum wasn't enough for people to understand what kind of a diva BB Rexa is, The Drag Race queens themselves have said that Rexha refused to acknowledge them, and when they said that they didn't know who she was as a guest judge on their show, she treated them even worse backstage. On my list of music artists who least deserve their fame in the first place, I am so close to putting Rexha under Kanye West or Chris Brown, because this woman is like that one cockroach that won't die no matter what you do. Oh, and something I didn't realize before I started working on this video was that apparently this was never a released track. David Guetta paired up with BB Rexha and performed this song live at a concert 5 years prior to this song suddenly skyrocketing onto the internet out of nowhere, which was the same time as when Meant to Be was invading the radio airwaves. Since I'm not codependently internet, I have no idea how this came to be now, but if you wanted me to be honest with you, this song doesn't sound like it happened in 2017, but instead a throwaway demo from the heights of EDM pop, which would probably be in between 2011 and 2014 as my best guess. Granted, the song itself does not sound like the worst EDM song on the face of the planet, but the outdatedness of it in 2022 marks everything you need to know about David Guetta's theft of I'm Blue by Eiffel 65. The original version is bad enough by itself, but who bloody knew that someone was craving a modern remix of one of the first musical internet memes? People use this song for stupid AMVs as Baby's first YouTube video. It was used as the background of stupid short videos because you needed a song to express the stupidity of what's going on in the background. Just like the Enchanted sequel, no one asked for a remix. And if this song didn't murder BB Rexha's reputation before, after her whole Mariah Carey style meltdown, it would only take a miracle to come back from this.
I be in a loop, she be in a group, Brody want a friend.
The very first time I ever heard this song, I was questioning my sanity. After listening to easy listening schlock for the past few years, I thought I was missing the purpose of this track. After finally listening to the song properly a few months ago, nope, I was still saying, this song is just as bad as you think it is.
Yeah, bitch, I could be a fantasy. I could tell you got big, deep energy.
Not only is it as dull as dirt, Lotto isn't even using the term correctly. Everyone has probably explained this already, but for the kids who are too young for this meme, big dick energy is just a phrase for someone who is so confident in themselves that their sausage down under is just as huge. However, in this song, Lotto is making it sound like that the guy she's talking to actually has a big sausage, which completely misses the point of the censored title. My brain actually hurts from how stupid this is. Musical irony died in the 2000s, and for some reason people are still trying to bring it back when they can't even pull the notion off. Let's just hope that this is a one-hit wonder thing and then Lotto can just disappear.
You know what? I'm about to say it.
I expect nothing, and I'm still let down.
Not all of the girls, because Rose and Jisoo are not rappers, but Jennie and Lisa want to be Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, Doja Cat, and Megan Thee Stallion so bad. And it's really pathetic how desperate they look. They want to be like them? In all honesty, Jennie and Lisa fall under the same pop rap, not serious category as Vanilla Ice. And yes, I went there. Unfortunately, many K-pop rappers fall under that category because they don't rap because they actually want to, but they have to do it because it makes them money. Plus, their companies force them to do it because the heads don't want dancing to be the members' only talent to show to the general public. At least Snow and MC Hammer were actually well respected in the rap genre despite the one-trick pony statuses that they have. How do you call yourself a rapper if you can't even write your own lyrics? I know Will Smith and Kanye West are gonna get thrown into that part of the conversation, but Will Smith doesn't rap anymore. Kanye is now considered the rap community's poster child for what not to be, along with 6ix9ine, and thank God both of those events happened so that I don't have to create an hour-long video talking about how ghostwriting actually ruins the intent of a canon music genre. Granted, this is not the worst song on the list, but it is the one of the two songs on this list altogether that really pisses me off as a music fan and a singer as a hobby. The very last thing the general public wants to hear are a couple of Korean teenage girls trying to be black for music clout. Like, listen to this line. Kicking the door, waving the coco. Apparently, that line didn't steal anything from the Notorious B.I.G., but it was a switch up of the original line from the song Kick in the Door. But in my opinion, the intent is still the same. Whoever wrote the song wanted to make these Instagram models sound threatening because they're such bad bitches, so they took the gangster rap line and made it sound like it was being rapped by the Korean Paris Hilton. You know who does the bad Korean bitch concept better? Jessie, Hyolyn, CL, and literally every other female Korean rapper who actually takes this genre seriously. You know, maybe for Jennie this song is fitting because she thinks that just because her fans aren't screaming loud enough that she can perform as piss poorly as she likes and get away with it like she was performing in a middle school talent show. I've seen middle schoolers perform better than Jennie Kim does, by the way, and it's embarrassing to witness. Hell, Jisoo even said herself that she joined YG Entertainment to be an actress, not an idol, so why the hell is she here? Blackpink, please go back to Korea and stay there. You did your job. You can retire peacefully. No thank you. I burned the pain like... Remember what I said about plagiarizing already existing songs earlier?
I'm staying alive, I'm staying alive, I'm staying alive, I'm staying alive.
I don't even have the energy to be angry at this than I normally would at anything DJ Khaled releases. But if memory serves me correctly, no one knows this song existed, which is even why I put it on here. If I will say one other thing, it's this. How dare you insult the Bee Gees by stealing their song, you fat fuck. I think all of you knew this was going to be on the list no matter what I say, right?
Oh, the misery. Everybody wants to be my enemy.
The most disturbing thing I heard about Imagine Dragons this year was that they've become basically the new Nickelback. The band that makes decent hits every once in a blue moon, but then became the most hated of the time period because everything else is just utter crap.
Look at this photograph. Every time I do it makes me laugh.
Don't you dare look at me in the eye and tell me that you think Photograph was ever okay to be made. But as I stated about Imagine Dragons before, I don't hate them, and I also don't hate Nickelback. Some of my favorite songs came from their Dark Horse album in 2008. For Imagine Dragons, Night Visions is a decent record. I can't even imagine living in a world without Radioactive or its time. It's just not possible. And as much as it slightly pains me, Whatever It Takes and Believer are not as terrible from Evolve. Imagine Dragons can make good music, but most of the time, in order to just get by, they write a lot of lazy songs, and Enemy is definitely that. For some reason, Imagine Dragons is now taking the route of everything being loud and useless because the louder your music is, the more the public will hear it? Actually, the worst part of this is that Enemy could have worked as a song. You know why? Because a K-pop rock band did the song better. Not by much, but better.
Oh, the misery. Everybody wants to be my enemy.
See? Get real instruments and talented singers and boom, you got yourself a soundtrack theme. By the way, if you guys never heard of N-Flying, you need to listen to their discography like right now. All of their songs are fire.
Too bad it's one Porsche. Too bad it's one Porsche.
First of all, two baddies, one Porsche.
Porsche. Porsche. Porsche.
That sounds like a line Nicki Minaj would rap on a bad day. Secondly, was this instrumental made by a SoundCloud artist? No sane person would ever put something that heinous into a track ever.
Two baddies, one Porsche.
I had to constantly ask myself, what would consist of the worst song of the year? Yes, bad vocals count. Yes, bad lyrics count. Yes, bad instrumentals count. And yes, laziness counts. Well, this song has the majority of those things, but it also has something else that, well, none of the other songs I had below had to offer. It has a marketing scandal attached.
Have you and your mom and your sister and your job?
You can hear most of my rant about this song in the link in the description box below because I really don't feel like re-explaining myself. But yeah, the TikTok scam of the year just asked for itself to be at the top of the list this year. Well, mainly at number 2. Not to go into this too deep, but something I didn't mention before, but I should now, is that this year's TikTok trends for some reason included elementary school songs as a sample, but then they are interrupted by the most adult swearing to ever grace the ears of the public.
Twinkle, twinkle, little bitch, just another narcissist.
As clever as it sounds on paper, if you actually listen to those choruses, it makes you want to stab your ears until you're deaf. It's like you're playing Call of Duty on voice chat and all of a sudden you hear this squealing 10-year-old shouting curse words in between shots because he wants to sound cool like the others playing the game. All that does for the child is make them look like a twink poser, and that's what causes adults to clock out mid-game because the last thing they want to deal with is a child trying to act like a hipster adult because it's edgy and cool. I think Gail is 18 years old by this point, so that would make this song extra cringy because now she's going to be known as the 17-year-old who made an adult parody of the ABCs. Actually, the only person who has been able to pull off the childhood tainted by adulthood concept was Melanie Martinez, because 1, this was pre-Olivia Rodrigo times and she basically enveloped the concept into her art, and 2, she wasn't relying on existing nursery rhymes to cringe lyrics as a way to jump scare all of the conservative parents in the world. Also 3, it wasn't a trend to be chased on TikTok because the last person to use childlike things for older people in their songs before Martinez was another bad creation, and that ended horribly.
You can love fuck off.
How can I be homophobic? My bitch is gay.
I can name 100 things, actually.
I could be a better boyfriend than him. I could do the shit that he never did.
This is not me hating on a song that was meant for the LGBT audience. As I've said plenty of times, I want songs geared to the LGBT audience to be mainstream. However, I've also heard from people that if they don't want straight Let Me Steal Your Girl songs, they also don't want lesbian Let Me Steal Your Girl songs either, especially with how predatory the chorus sounds. Like, if a man was singing this, we would be just as creeped out, if not more. I also hate bringing up the if a man was doing said thing argument, but in the case of this, it still rings true because he'd be kicked in the nuts.
Yes, I'm nude.
That warped violin kills my soul every time I hear it.
Dog, player, I get it. Fraud, player, I get it.
Can't someone just do a regular Elvis Presley cover for the biopic movie and not whatever the hell this was supposed to be?
No.
Take my hand, let me make you mine. I'm through waiting, taking my time.
I found the country version of Maroon 5.
Oh, Jesus. Gross.
Let me get this straight. Super M gets a debut about how awesome they are, and all the girls get is a bitch stay away from my man anthem? What decade is this? Oh, and the vocals sound like trash, which is the utmost upsetting because most of the ladies in this group are K-pop queens.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Hold on, cause baby, I might just give you a bite of your sweetest pie.
You would think A song with two of the greatest dance music powerhouses would be a fantastic idea, right? How the hell did they end up with this boring trife? That's a story I want to hear.
I got my head out the sunroof, I'm blasting our favorite tunes.
Every person I've heard talk about this song says the same thing. Just like that stupid AI app that steals artwork, whoever wrote this lazy track must have used a AI song maker, and this was what it came up with.
Girl, I like you, I do. I wanna be a friend, go shopping in a Benz, I like you, I do.
I expect nothing, and I'm still let down.
I wanna dance, the music's got me going, and nothing that can stop how we move.
I was going to say, I know this came out in 2021, and I should have done this song last year, but I have no other excuse for putting this on here other than letting me be clear about this. But since the song did also chart in 2022, that note was rendered pointless. I think I can make a timeline for how this fart of a song came to existence. Ed Sheeran wrote a song. It was possible that he could have written it for himself, but he also could make more money by giving it to a more popular artist instead. BTS needed more English songs. Hybe wanted to make more money, so they took the song from Sheeran and shoved it down BTS's throats. BTS probably didn't want it because it was too colorful for their concept, or it was just too corny for their tastes. Hybe threatened to scrap BTS's paychecks, so BTS ended up singing the song anyway, but to make it very clear that they never wanted to sing the song in the first place, they did it in the most boring, unentertaining way possible. Then the editors auto-tuned the boys' voices so it would sound more interesting. Turned out to be the biggest mess every K-pop stan in ARMY had ever heard, so everyone decided that Permission to Dance by BTS didn't exist. Finally, something we can all agree on. Had this song been given to actual singers, Permission to Dance would never have had to suffer like this. I'm just putting it out there. Also, ARMYs, I just offended you right now, so don't turn your back on me by saying that I gave BTS grief here, because the last time I checked, all of you hated this garbage and still do. Okay. Now that we finally got to the moment we've all been waiting for, I thought to myself that ABCDEFU was going to be the #1 worst song of 2022. I think everyone kind of thought this for a while, but I surprised myself. Actually, pretty much everyone should have seen this coming if you were in the know of what happened. I never did this before, for the record. Not only is this song not even on the Billboard Hot 100 at all, but this didn't even chart in America. However, the only reason why I'm putting this on here is that everyone needs to be aware that shit like this exists even in the year of our Lord 2022. What could possibly be worse than a 17-year-old using the ABCs to be a brat and her company scamming her fans and TikTok audience? Yeah. Well, how about a Netflix and chill song written by middle-aged men and sung by literal children? Did I mention that this was a terrible year for K-pop?
내가 만든 cookie.
This is New Jeans, the latest girl group from the same company BTS is under, Hybe Entertainment. They were made to distract everyone from the whole Kim Garam and Les Seraphim scandal, but that's a whole other topic I don't feel like diving into today. Or possibly ever. They officially debuted with a song called Attention, which is fine. Not my favorite thing in the world, but at least it was tolerable. But to hype up their debut EP, which would only contain like 5 songs or something, the company also released solo member versions of a song called Hype Boy, which is actually really nice. I enjoyed those quite a lot. And the song that would be the shining star of the single CD, Cookie. Cookie had been advertised for weeks, and fans were excited to hear what it would be about. Personally, a song titled Cookies sounds like a teeny bopper hit from the 50s, but this is South Korea, so who am I to judge? However, the chaos didn't really begin until Cookies premiere on August 1st, 2022. And then, the world exploded.
숨기고 있지만 날 다 보고 싶어. Looking at my cookie. 향기부터 다르니. 다이어트 망치고 싶어 나. Take it, don't break it. I wanna see you taste it. 내가 만든 cookie. Come and take a look it. 우리 집에만 있지 놀러 와.
What? Yeah. The songwriters and Hybe Entertainment thought it would be a fantastic idea to give literal Korean minors a song about inviting boys over to their house to have sex. oral sex, I would imagine. According to worldpopulationreview.com, South Korea's most recent age of consent was updated from 13 to age of 20. The age in which a person is considered an adult in South Korea is 19 years old. So if we do the math here and I calculated all of the ages of the girls back when the song was being created and when the song premiered, the eldest member of the group was 18. The youngest member of the group was 14.
I'm done.
It's more than obvious than ever that the topic of minors in the working entertainment industry has been a hot one for the past few decades. With the releases of the books Shine and Bright by Jessica Jung and Jeanette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom Died, and the rise of the hashtag #MeToo movement, it's even more so. Hybe has yet to receive the memo, apparently. Yes, I'm more than aware that New Jeans is actually under Adore, which is a branch that Hybe purchased, but Hybe is still just as responsible considering that they also let literal children sing a song about genitals slide into the public consciousness. Most international fans of the K-pop genre didn't look at the song the wrong way at first because only the leader was 18 years old at the time, and 18 is majorly the age of consent in most first world countries. But even if that were to be true by public standards, you still have children, even by international standards, singing something the utmost inappropriate. Fortunately, the majority of people who learned about this made a huge stink about it, which is what Hybe and every other company of this caliber hates the most. In response to this, Adore first stated that the song wasn't even about baking cookies, but about making CDs. Second, fortunately, the public wasn't stupid and called them out on their shit again. This time, they attacked Adore's company head, Hee Jin-min, who used to be the creative director for SM Entertainment. Heejin wasn't directly responsible for the lyrics written, but because she was basically in charge of New Jeans by that point, we assume she was the one who approved Cookie going into musical print. Heejin had been known before this mess as the woman who was responsible for FX's highly controversial Lolita concept, which had the members look like the child character from the movie of the same name, which also has controversies in its own right, but again, this video is not for that. Trust me, if I wanted to make a video about why Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov is one of the smartest and most dangerous books ever written in the history of man, I would. Heejin had also been uncovered on Instagram by posting pictures of what her office looks like. Netizens took complete notice of her decor in the background, which mostly consisted of pictures and movie posters featuring underage girls in sexualized positions. Most infamously, the Calvin Klein advertisement with the at the time underage book Shields. A second statement had to be made for both the song and now Heejin's pictures, to which they responded with as follows. Paraphrasing here, Heejin got the pictures from friends. And we didn't know that cookie was a slang word because our translators said it was okay.
You serious?
First and foremost, that says something about Heejin and her friends. Secondly, cookie has been used as a slang word for a woman's underparts since the 70s. My mom was a child at the time, and she can confirm that was a thing. I know that word was taught to little girls to use instead of the actual word because children can't go around using vagina constantly because that's not socially appropriate. Plus, if your translators really said that it was okay, you have shit translators? Or you're lying and you just decided to use the word anyway thinking no one would notice because not everyone listens to K-pop. Unfortunately, everyone did notice. And that's why there's a giant rally for not debuting minors into the K-pop industry, or if minors are going to debut anyway, please put them in child-friendly / teen-friendly concepts. I don't hate those opinions at all. If I found out that my teenage daughter was singing about boys giving her oral, I would be flipping out right about now too, because I don't want my underage child exposed to that. Now, that's not to say that teenagers shouldn't know what sex is, because they're going to find out eventually, and some of them might have sex before they turn into adult age. But there's a difference between sex amongst teens and teenage girls talking about their vaginas with lyrics written by middle-aged men, and singing towards the adult male demographic, because, come on now, you know exactly that's what Hybe had in mind. Believe it or not, pedo songs from minors is not a new concept. It was the year 2000 and Ji-yoon Park was the newest in line of Gen 1 idols who were reaching for the big ranks. She had just released a song that would make her a phenomenon in South Korea. adult ceremony. The plot of the song is that a girl just had become the adult age, and she's telling the adult man that she had a crush on that it was okay to do whatever he wants with her now because she had just turned into an adult. Local and international fans were disturbed by the lyrics, and this song almost killed Jiyoon's career on the spot. She actually quit her company and started a new one to get out of that old reputation, and it didn't take until recently to finally find her footing back in the K-pop scene again with songs that were actually age appropriate and not so rapey. I don't wish any ill will on New Jeans at all. They never asked for a song that made a giant dent in their careers. They never asked to lose fans gained from their debut single because their company staff are narcissist creeps. Now you notice that I said nothing about how this song sounds besides the pedo lyrics. Well, that's because Cookie music-wise is very mid. The instrumental is simple, but done in a good way. I really dislike how sloggy the girls' vocals are. I know that's done on purpose, and you can tell that the girls have better vocals than that. But had this song been written differently, Cookie wouldn't be as hated as it is now. But it wouldn't be really praised as much as Attention and Hype Boy, so I didn't think that part of the critique was going to be as useful to anyone. Whether you want to listen to New Jeans after this or not is up to you. I personally don't want to give my money to a company who finds pleasure in having children act so coy in mature messages and then tries to gaslight the audience when the company gets caught. Hybe, adore, piss off. Oh, and by the way, for everyone who's been saying, yeah, the lyrics are shit, but the beats are cool, or I'm only listening to this song illegally, I hope you understand that's what Adore still wants from you so that they can pull this stunt off again, right? Congratulations, you played yourself. And that concludes today's video. If you guys liked what you saw and heard, I know how awkward that statement sounds already, please hit the like button and subscribe. If there are any more bad songs from the year that I missed, please hit me up in the comments. Don't forget to hit me up on my social media in the description box down below too. I'm Cait, and it's been real. See ya in my best list.